What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of From the Tips. In today's video, doing something a little bit different because of the tropical storm going through South Florida hasn't really made it for the best audio quality. The wind on the camera is just a little bit too much, so decided to voice over a couple of these clips for you, and without further ado, let's just get started.
A really key thing to talk about when hitting this shot is the same thing I talked about in my flop shot video. So when you're hitting a shot that you feel uncomfortable with, it's crucial that you don't tense up your hands, especially when you're hitting a finesse shot like a flop shot or hitting a bunker shot. What you want to do is actually loosen up your grip a little bit. Make sure you can very easily manipulate your wrists, manipulate your hands, because that's going to allow you to generate the speed through this shot. So when you're in the sand, you want to really be able to accelerate through the ball and snap your wrist. You want to get that thump sound, and you want to be able to get the ball up and out. The only way you do that is by loosening up your grip.
First thing you want to do when you get into a bunker is you want to evaluate the sand that's in it. So it can either be fluffy or it can either be firm sand, and it might sound a little bit ridiculous, but it actually makes a huge difference on how you want to hit this shot. First one I'm going to talk about here is fluffy sand, and really the setup for a fluffy sand shot is the same as a flop shot, and I made a video about this earlier, and I'm going to put that link down in the description below. But pretty much you want your feet to be open to the target, and you want to open up the club face as much as possible. And the reason for this is you're going to be exposing the bounce of the golf club, and I'll explain what the bounce is right here.
The bounce of the golf club. So the bounce, for people that don't know, it's pretty much the angle of which the leading edge goes into the back of the club. So the bigger the bounce, the bigger that angle is, the bigger the flange is. So you really want to open it up as much as possible, and that'll act as a rudder going through the sand. So if you don't do that in really fluffy sand, you're going to have a square club face, and you're just going to be digging down into the sand. So what you really want to do is open it up and let that bounce just glide the club right through the sand.
Alright guys, first of all I want to go over a common misconception about bunker shots. So you often hear a lot of people talking about you want to hit 1 inch behind the ball, you want to hit 2 inches behind the ball, when in reality the distance behind the ball is irrelevant. The only thing that really matters is the depth of sand of which you take. You don't want to be digging too deep in. So what I like to be thinking about is there's a dollar bill underneath the golf ball, and I want to be able to get just underneath the dollar bill to pick it up, but you don't want to be digging and have the club stop underneath the dollar bill. So if the only thing you're thinking about is the depth of sand that you're taking, in this case just a dollar bill, then you'll have the right swing path, and it won't even matter how far behind the ball that you hit. It could be 1 inch, 2 inches, even 3 inches. As long as you're only taking a small amount of sand, you're going to be getting out of the bunker every time. So here for this fluffy sand shot, I'm going to be having my feet open to the target, club face wide open, exposing that bounce. I'm going to have ball position just off my left heel, and I'm going to just hinge my wrists and accelerate through the golf ball. You don't want any deceleration at all. You'll get it up, and now you're putting.
Alright, so that one wasn't too bad. Kind of leaked out a little bit to the right. On this next one, I'm going to be hitting out of some firm sand, so I'm going to be punching it down a little bit. So when hitting out of firm sand, really the only difference is I'm going to be putting my ball position not off my front heel. What I'm really going to be doing is try to put it more off, kind of lined up with my left hip. So line up with your left hip and not as open as the club face. You're going to close it off just a little bit, but it's really just the same swing, just a little bit, not as much takeaway, and you're still accelerating right through the golf ball. That's all you need. So let's try this one on some firm sand.
And you're going to be closing the club face slightly. So you're still going to have it slightly open, but not nearly as open for the fluffy sand shot. And the reason for this is because if you actually have too much bounce exposed on the firm sand shot, what the club will actually do is really not dig into the sand at all. It'll actually bounce and come up out of the sand a little bit too early, and you'll end up hitting that thin shot over the back of the green, which is obviously no good. And the last lie we're going to be talking about in the bunker is a plugged lie, a fried egg in the lip of the bunker. It's when the golf ball is completely buried in the sand. It's a really tough shot, and pretty much the only difference in setup is you're going to be having the club face almost completely square to your target. And keep in mind on this shot, you're not really trying to get the ball close to the hole as possible. You're really just trying to put yourself in a position to make a putt after getting out of the bunker. The worst thing you can do is aim for a pin, not be able to get the ball out of the bunker. Your main focus here is getting the ball out of the bunker. So you're going to have the same setup as a normal bunker shot, and you're going to accelerate through the golf ball. However, with your club face being closed, the club face is almost going to stick in the sand behind the ball, just generating enough power for the ball to get up and out onto the green. And alright guys, that's it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. Sorry about the audio, but if you liked the video, please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and bell notification icon so you don't miss out on any of my new videos. Until next time guys, peace.